Hello, it's your education consultant, Allison, and I'm here for Feature Friday. It's Friday, and today we're going to be again in ClassFlow. Like I told you yesterday, we'd be looking at how to make a PDF interactive to deliver as a poll to our students. One of the places I really like to go for my math worksheets is a site titled Common Core Sheets, and you can get all sorts of Common Core math sheets here. But I just pulled up one. The reason I want that is so that I don't have to create all of the problems together, and then I can manipulate it in a way that I can use it in my ClassFlow lesson or that I'd be able to use. So it's commoncoresheets.com. And they've got all sorts of free resources there, and I use it actually quite often. And so what I did was I downloaded the worksheet, and so it comes like this. So again, I'm going to put it in the format where I can get a good screen capture. And so I'm going to actually make it just a little smaller. This way, I'm not having to create a bunch of images of arrays. It has them for me. So I'm going to do that screen snip again, where I'm going to bring up my snip and sketch. I'm going to click New. And here I'm just going to copy those first 6 problems. It does have only 5 on it because the first one is going to be an example. And after I take my snip, I'm going to save it again so that I can use it. I'm going to make sure it's in my OneDrive. If you remember when I saved to my OneDrive before, I had a real life array. So I'm actually going to open that one, and I'm going to create a new folder in there and just make it other arrays. And that way it's in my OneDrive. And I'm going to save that as arrays for polling 1. So I'm going to save that. Now, if you'll notice on that worksheet, the directions were write each array as an addition problem and solve. In my arrays, remember, I'm working with them as multiplication problems. So I'm not going to, that's why I clipped off those instructions. Now I'm going to go into my ClassFlow lesson, into my resources, and it's our creating arrays lesson. I'm going to choose that and click on edit. And I see everything I've done. This one, my last card, if you remember, was our form from a previous video that we brought in from Microsoft Forms. Then I am going to add a card. So now I have my blank card. I want to bring that image into my card. To do that, I'm going to use my insert again in my toolbar, which is that little file folder. And then if you recall, I can choose here from my resources. And I'm going to choose upload a new resource. Then I can look for it on my OneDrive. Remember, I could also pull this over from my OneDrive and drop it. My real life arrays, and here it is. And so that is uploading. I'm going to choose that and insert. And I then can manipulate that again to review from my card size video. I'm always going to want to have that card size either widescreen 16:9 or widescreen 16:10 because that's what shows best on most computers. It automatically defaults to that ultra widescreen. So you can see here that I can manipulate the size. The picture quality stays very nice. And then I can write my own directions here. And since this is a poll that I'm going to be delivering to students, I'm going to want to anchor everything. So here I go to anchor that, and I'm going to choose anchor all. So in the preview, you can see that can't be moved around. It can on my screen, I can still move it, but the students won't be able to. Then I'm going to type my instructions to my students. And again, this will generally default to the last one I used. Write a multiplication equation, or you could say problem, for each array. The example is done for you. If I also wanted to put in there submit, I could do that as well. Remember to click submit or something like that. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. How about if I make it smaller? There we go. And then because I like things this way, I'm just going to put that in the center. And again, I'm going to go, since this is a card I'm going to be delivering to students, I'm going to choose anchor all. And that way they cannot move it around and accidentally get rid of it. Now, what does that look like when I go to deliver it? In my preview, you can see it that way. What I'm going to do when I deliver that to students is choose my deliver. And then remember, if this is a lesson that I've worked on previously, or for this video, I'm going to go to my card viewing, and I'm going to click on that last one so that we don't have to go through all the cards here. And here is my card that I just did. You can see that in the deliver mode, nothing can be moved or accidentally erased. So when I would be delivering this to my students, I would say, okay, the example here, let's do this together. Or I could have this done on my card ahead of time. And I could say, what is the array shown here? So I could use these right here, and I could click on, or if I wanted to use my pen, I could click on my pen and we could talk about, well, this is 3 times 5, and that equals 15. So again, the thing about this is it really allows you to inform your instruction and allow your students to help you through it while you're on ClassFlow in Teams. And so your software, you'd be in this with your students and they'd be able to do this with you. Or you could have, like I said in the directions, that the example is done for you. And remind them how you want, which number you want to go first. You want your rows to go first and then your columns. And then I would go ahead and I would send this to my students as a creative poll. Then remember, on this side, you can see that my students have, I'm going to be watching how they answer as they come in. So on the student side, it looks like this. I'm logged in as a student. And so my student would be able to go in and complete this either with text or with their written tool. Then on the teacher side, I can use this to inform my instruction. I can very easily click on these and look at them. So I can see here that this student did theirs correctly. And so what I like to do when I see them doing it correctly is I'll put a green on it. And this student, I can right here I have an incorrect answer. Right here I have an incorrect answer. So I can right away with these students, I can see possibly what's going on. This is 5 times 4 is 25. So I can see is it in their counting problem? What is it? So I can immediately inform instruction. Here I have another one that did them all correct. So I can, what's that, this one? I can put this one green, green. I can move it over here. And these results, of course, will be saved for me in my polling when I bring it up. So this one, again, looks like they answered them all correctly. And so I'll make that one green as well. So I know these students here have that concept down. So they're able to look at the array and give me the correct answer. Now here I have one, this one's correct. They did put the plus, but that's a typing thing. But right here, I can see that they've added instead of multiplied. What I could do here too, if I wanted to make it interact with the student, is I could go to my snip and sketch tool again. I could do a new, and then when I have it in my snip and sketch, I can actually check it, and I can then save it, show them what they did wrong here. So here they only got that one wrong, so I could double back with them and talk to them about that one. Then I have this student who used their pen, but did an excellent job on theirs. So that one is going to go into my green again, and I can move it over here. And then here, let's see what our last student did. Again, we have one that's all correct. So right here, very quickly, I can look at this while the results are coming in, and I can separate them out. Again, I would have the students working on their own page, not necessarily looking at this with me. If I wanted them to look at it, I would not show the names. If I wanted to know who I needed to work with, see here, I need to work with Nancy, Javier, and Erica separately. And these here are going to be my group that's ready to go on. So I'm going to stop that poll. And then remember, I want to save those results so that I can use them. So I'm going to go to my hamburger and I'm going to click exit. And it's going to ask me, do I want to save them as a new lesson? And in this case, I am going to save them as a new lesson. And when I get back here, it looks like I didn't save it, right? It's the same lesson I had. So I'm going to exit my builder and I'm going to come back. Now you'll notice here that the lesson I was just working on is highlighted. The lesson right above it is the lesson that I just delivered the polls in. I'm going to click on that and click edit. When I come down here, you can see this one here at the very bottom has poll results. I click on view poll results, and again, it comes up. What I do with this is I switch up the name just a little bit so that I might say 11, 13, 20, so I know, or I might say, if Smith is my partner teacher and I teach math for their class, I might put his name up there. I hope that helps show you. I kind of showed you a few different features today. One was putting in the PDF that I was able to take a snip of, and then delivering that as a poll to help it inform my instructions through a poll. Now, I could also use these, say I have a worksheet that's in my math curriculum that I want to deliver in real time and watch them working on it. I could do the same thing where I take a snip of that and put it in my lesson. We can work on it together. Now, the one thing you'll need to remember is you will not be watching them work in real time. But if they were watching your screen when you went to deliver and you were writing on it, they would be watching you in real time. You can also put the snip into an instant whiteboard and use it on your instant whiteboard as well. I hope that helped you today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday to gain that Monday momentum. And remember to use that power of Promethean in your lessons.